this is absolute cinema right here. What we have here is an idea that was festered up in the shower, thinking, man, I really miss the summer weather, especially with that bipolar northeast weather where it just doesn't even make any sense. You get a taste of the summer and then it's back into the 30s and whatever, 40s. I want to go back to the beach and I want to ride roller coasters that are on the beach. Specifically because the vibes there are immaculate, man. There's nothing that beats it. But going back to the list idea I had, I wanted to rank my boardwalk coasters that I've been on. I thought I've been on a lot more. I thought I've been on so many of them that I wouldn't be able to include all of them in a single video, but I was wrong. I've only been on 15 of them. The range and quality is actually pretty insane because some of them are cheap pieces of junk and other ones are actually high quality, made by like renowned manufacturers. So we're gonna get into this. Starting at number 15, we have Looping Star at Jolly Roger at the Pier. This ride is a total waste of money. It's a piece of junk. It's actually probably one of the worst coasters I've ever been on. It is manufactured by Pinfari. It's basically a kiddie coaster that has a really malformed and inappropriately scaled loop where your neck is thrashed everywhere. Overall, the ride is not comfortable at all. It's not even worth the price. This thing is expensive. It's like $8 to ride, and with inflation, it's probably even more than that. So, I mean, do you want to pay $8 to $10 for this thing? No. It also has over-the-shoulder restraints, if I remember correctly, which is just like, why? This is not a good ride at all. Moving in at number 14, we have Rolly's Coaster at Maurice Piers. Guess what? This is another Pinfari manufactured roller coaster. It is an abomination on a track. My girlfriend really liked it, actually. I don't really know why. This thing is kind of uncomfortable. I have no idea why this is, but the seats that you sit on are maybe like 2 inches off the ground. So what ends up happening is, imagine getting into the train. It's like you're sitting on the floor. There's no leg room. There's literally no leg room. This ride is super uncomfortable. The trains are almost as bad as Premier Skyrocket trains. The deal breaker for me is the trains, I'm not gonna lie. If this ride had any other trains, I would actually probably like this ride a lot more, but because you're basically sitting on the floor of the train, there's not really a seat. You just kind of sit on the floor with an over-the-shoulder restraint, by the way. Why does Pinfari put these on their children's coasters? This doesn't even make any sense. Number 13, we have Doo Whopper at also Maurice Piers. We have 2 back-to-back entries here. There's not really much going on for this ride. I don't mean to ruffle any feathers here, but I kind of do. Zamperla doesn't really make that great Wild Mouse coasters, I'm not gonna lie. This ride doesn't pull the same exciting forces as, the other Wild Mouse coasters do. Like, for example, Apple Zapple at King's Dominion. That's like the best Wild Mouse coaster ever. It's not offensive, like it's not gonna beat you up, it's not gonna hurt you, but it's also not gonna do anything. It's kind of like sitting on a bench or something. Number 12, we have Wild Waves at Playland's Castaway Cove. This is another park that has 2 entries on the list, but this one comes a lot sooner than the other one. Wild Waves is made by E&F Myler. It's one of these weird, like really weird roller coasters that looks like it was made with scrap metal. But I mean, hey, I actually kind of like this ride. I think it was pretty fun. It's not rough or anything. It's actually kind of smooth. And there are some pretty decent forces on it. For it being a coaster geared towards younger people, it does have some pretty decent forces in there, all things considered. I would actually say this is almost a reasonable price to pay. I don't remember how much I paid to ride this. I'm pretty sure I bought the package deal with the other ride. Again, a credit's a credit, and this one isn't too terrible. It's actually pretty good. Number 11 is Undertow at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Have you ever wanted to know what Laugh Track at Hershey Park would be like if it were outside? This is the same ride as Laugh Track at Hershey Park, except it is outside. You can see the whole thing, and it doesn't have any theming. And it spun actually a lot more than Laugh Track did. I was actually surprised because I've been on Laugh Track before I went to this one at Santa Cruz. I thought it would be pretty similar in terms of how the car spun, but I was completely wrong. The car spun way more on this one, and I don't know if it had to do anything with how we distributed the weight on this one versus, Laugh Track, but whatever the difference was, I actually enjoyed it a lot more. I think this ride is better than Laugh Track. This is a really good roller coaster, especially for a boardwalk, and it's at Santa Cruz, the most picturesque beach or boardwalk out there, I feel like. Number 10, we have Runaway Tram at Maurice Piers. This is made by Zero, I believe. This is a Zero Force coaster, kind of similar to the one that just got installed at SeaWorld San Antonio, but these Zero Force coasters are awesome. These are less kiddie coasters, and they're more like coasters for everyone. This thing is even themed after the tram that goes up and down the boardwalk to take you from, pier to pier. The one, the one that says, "Watch the tram car, please." That's pretty cool. I like that because this is something unique to Maurice Piers. No other park can take a ride like this and slap that theming and whatever on it. You can't do it because it's something strictly unique to Maurice Piers and arguably pretty iconic. It's one of the most iconic things in Maurice Piers, I feel like. Number 9, we have West Coaster at Santa Monica Pier. I wanted to ride this ever since I played GTA 5 because honestly, nothing beats robbing a bank and then going to ride a roller coaster. That's peak. You cannot compete with that. I wanted to get that experience in real life, but unfortunately, robbing a bank is against the law and I didn't want to go to jail, so I just skipped that part and rode the roller coaster instead. If you want a unique credit that is super iconic, featured in Grand Theft Auto 5, this ride is for you. This is unskippable. If you're in Los Angeles, you have to ride this. It's a kiddie coaster basically at its core, but it does have 1 or 2 really good airtime pops, and they send you through the course twice. Number 8, we have Iron Shark at Galveston Island Historic Pleasure Pier. It's an extremely long name. I want to get this off my chest first and foremost. I have a gripe with this ride. The way they have this whole thing set up is just irritating to me. You have to pay like $10 or so just to get access to the boardwalk. And then you have to pay additional money to ride the rides. It's like you get double fisted. Just charge them once for entry or charge them per ride. Don't do both. That's grimy. With that thing aside, with that gripe aside, objectively, Iron Shark is a really good ride. It is something that I would love to have at my boardwalk here in the terrible state of Delaware. But we don't even have any roller coasters. The only one we did have, we sent to Florida and it derailed, so I'm honestly kind of impressed with how compact this ride is as well. I know there's clones of this ride. I believe this can also be found at Six Flags Darien Lake as Tantrum. I believe this is a clone of that ride or the other way around. Either way, I believe this ride has been cloned before. Either way, very compact ride, very smooth ride for a Gerstlauer too. Usually Gerstlauers can be a bit iffy with how they ride, but this one's pretty good. Number 7 is Sea Serpent at Maurice Piers. I'm actually kind of surprised myself that a Vekoma Boomerang made it this high on the list, but I mean, all the other entries before this weren't anything impressive. Sea Serpent isn't really a pushover. It's an incredible boomerang, actually. I believe it was one of the first, if not the first, boomerangs made by Vekoma. And it somehow manages to be one of the best as well. If maintained correctly, they can be great rides. It's just every park that ever bought one pretty much neglected the hell out of it, and it became terrible. But in Sea Serpent's case, I can attest to it being one of the best boomerangs I've been on. Maurice Piers has taken very good care of it, so what you end up getting is a relatively smooth, albeit jerky, ride that has some really insane forces, especially on the backward section. At number 6, we have Giant Dipper at Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Overall, this ride isn't offensively rough. Yes, there are some potholes, but that comes with pretty much every classic wooden coaster you can ever possibly imagine. Santa Cruz is very impressive when it comes to how they set everything up, and this ride being the center of it all, it's just so picturesque. I've taken some pretty good pictures of this ride just because of how easy it is to do it. You can walk pretty much around this entire ride. You can see every square inch of this thing. Every piece of wood of this roller coaster, you can take a picture of it because you can get so up close to it. And the interaction that it has with the boardwalk alone makes this a really good ride. And then you add on the fact that this is actually a pretty exciting ride. It has good forces. It actually has airtime. I wish I could remember how much I paid to ride for any of these things, but I do remember this one being pretty fair. I think it was might have been $8. And for a ride like this, definitely worth it, especially given its historic value. I'd pay $8 to ride this over $10 to ride, Looping Stars. Overall, if you're in the Santa Cruz area, I would recommend going. Definitely don't skip this one. And if you're not in the Santa Cruz area, I would recommend you go to the Santa Cruz area. And then I would, of course, recommend you ride this ride. Number 5 is Hydrus at Casino Pier. Now, so imagine Iron Shark, but better. That's what this ride is. I feel like not only is this a better ride than Iron Shark, objectively speaking. It's a better ride aesthetically. It looks a lot better than Iron Shark does. It honestly rides really smooth for a Gerstlauer. I think this is probably the smoothest Gerstlauer on planet Earth. I don't think you can convince me otherwise that it's not, because I haven't been on too many Gerstlauers, mind you, but every single one I've been on either had a pretty bad rattle or was covered in potholes that broke your neck, like Mystery Mine at Dollywood. I'm looking at you. This ride doesn't have any of that. This ride is perfectly smooth. It's almost too smooth. And the fact that this ride is replacing an E&F Miler, kind of similar to the Wild Waves, that collapsed into the ocean, you know, that famous one, that is what this ride replaced. And I'm going to say it. I'm glad that that roller coaster fell in the ocean, because if it didn't, we wouldn't get hydras. No complaints here from the price. I feel like the price was pretty fair to ride this. At number 4, we have the Great White at Maurice Piers. So now we're getting into the big boys. This ride is made by CCI, and it is an incredible one. Granted, I haven't been on this ride in quite a while, because when I went to Maurice Piers last summer, it was closed. So what we got here is a ride that I haven't been on in probably like 8 or 9 years, but I do remember having the time of my life on this thing. I was not like a fledgling coaster enthusiast. I only had like 40 something credits to my name. There's nothing quite like it that I've been on. I'm sure there's others out there who have had, experiences on other boardwalk coasters that are very similar to this one. But in my case, it almost felt kind of magical, because I got a really good night ride on this thing as well as a daytime ride, so I got a really good feel at the time for how this ride ran. And from what I remember, this ride is incredibly smooth. And like a lot of other CCI coasters, it is packed with laterals, especially going around the turnarounds. That is awesome. I love laterals. I feel like lateral forces are slept on, especially on big coasters. The only places you really find good laterals are Wild Mouse coasters. So when coasters like this incorporate them, it makes me so happy to see it, because they're honestly underrated as hell. I feel like if done correctly, a ride that has strong laterals can be better than a ride that has strong positives or negatives. It just depends on execution. I feel like Great White does it really well. If you are by the Jersey Shore, I'm just going to say this for the millionth time, do not skip Maurice Piers. Number 3, taking home the bronze medal, is the Great Nor'easter. This ride definitely has a history with me, because when I first went on it back in 2016, this was the worst ride I've ever been on in my life. And I feel like if it were still the way it was in 2016, it would still be the worst ride I've ever been on in my life. But then it got retracked, and I finally rode it. It got retracked like years ago at this point. But I finally rode it last summer after it got retracked, and oh my gosh, I wish I had more time to ride it. I'm not even gonna lie. This ride completely destroys some of the B&M inverts now. It is insane what a retrack can do. And this is an SLC. People love to hate SLCs because they're rough. I get it, yeah, they are rough. Okay, one thing we can't lie here, SLCs have really good layouts. They have insanely good layouts. And you don't really notice that because you're too busy fighting for your life. But when the ride is smooth, like Great Nor'easter, you really understand how good the layout is. It is an extremely intense ride. It's actually on par with the level of intensity that you would get from like Montu. I would have ridden it again if I had the time, but I didn't, and that really made me sad. But that also made me want to go back to ride it. A Vekoma SLC has me wanting to come back to the park and ride it again. That's never happened before, and I was very skeptical about it when riding it for the first time after the retrack last summer. But it slapped. It slapped so hard. This dude, like, oh my gosh. Like, listen to what everyone's saying. This ride is epic. It's better than at least half of the B&M inverts out there, and I wish I were lying, because I just love hating SLCs for the love of the game, but I just can't hate this one. This one's impossible to hate. It's awesome. Number 2, we have Gale Force at Playland's Castaway Cove. S&S made a ride like this, and the first thing I think of is, what? This doesn't even look like an S&S. I genuinely thought at first it was a Gerstlauer. It looks like one, but it's not. I don't even know how this ride is possible, to be honest with you. Some of these turns, especially that kickflip, the profiling of the track in some areas is so sharp, it makes me wonder how the train stays on the track without breaking it. What you actually end up getting is intense, and I mean very, very, very intense ejector airtime at the top. And again, the footprint, it is so small. Like, how did they figure out how, like, who thought of this? It's like, let's put this crazy ass ride in a really small footprint, and then this is what they came up with. I don't know how they did it or whose idea it was, but whoever it was, man, they need a promotion, because this ride is packed with literally everything. The launch is pretty good. It's not a super intense launch. It is like a swing launch where you launch gradually out of the station, then you launch backwards and then forwards. But once you get up to speed, that kickflip is easily, I would say, dare I say, that kickflip is one of the top coaster elements out there. It's insane. It's an out-of-body experience you get there. At number 1, we have the hands down best boardwalk coaster I've been on, is Boardwalk Bullet at Kema Boardwalk? I don't know how to pronounce that, but Boardwalk Bullet, this ride defies the laws of nature, I feel like, because when you're looking at it from the outside, it's just this massive hulking structure of just wood that stands over everything, but at the same time, it's not like super tall. It barely even cracks 100 feet, but it packs in almost 3,500 feet of track. This ride somehow manages to last an eternity without losing steam either. It's just magic. It, like, the laws of momentum or whatever, they don't apply to this ride. It's relentless from start to finish, and it's smooth. The fact that it just keeps winding around itself over and over and over and over again. You're weaving in and out of the structure. You're doing all sorts of things. It's got laterals. It's got airtime. It's got everything you could ever want, and it's not like a super rough ride again. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And by the end, you feel satisfied because the ride has given you everything that you could have wanted from it. There's a reason why so many people say Boardwalk Bullet is a top 50. Some even say it's a top 25 coaster. There's a reason for that, trust me. It's because this ride is actually that good. That's a wrap on my top 15, or I guess I'll ranking all 15 boardwalk coasters I've been on. I had this idea because, I was just thinking about how close summer is, especially with the weird temperatures we've been getting, and I just wanted to go back outside and do something. And this video is my way of kind of looking forward to the summer season to come and wishing all this horrible winter weather would go away. I mean, it's about all you can do when it's 30 degrees outside, or 28 right now in this case. Let me know what your favorite boardwalk coasters are, because everyone's got different opinions. I'd love to hear them.